Hi there, students. If anything. Okay, this is an idiomatic phrase. We can use this to say that something may be true, it may be the case. Often it may be the opposite of what was previously implied. Let me give you some examples to help. So, this situation is, if anything, worsening. So maybe it's getting worse. He said his English is very good, but I think, if anything, it's rather bad. The prices are going down. And then John says, I disagree with you. If anything, they are going up. So you're suggesting that something else is the case. Normally the opposite of the previous statement, or you change the meaning of that statement a little. So, yes, the lockdown is making his business worse. I don't think so. I think, if anything, it's improving the situation of his business. Okay, when people are nervous, they tend to talk a lot. And then John says, I disagree. I think, if anything, the opposite is true. So maybe the opposite is true. You can use this to say that what people may believe is not true, and the opposite perhaps is true. So everybody says that you are jealous of his success, but I disagree. I think, if anything, we have come closer together. They say that if you are self-employed, your life is much easier. But I personally think, if anything, you have to work a lot harder. Okay, he's always very honest about what he says. If anything, he's too honest. He says too much. Okay, now this is one way to use it. The other way we use, if anything, is to say that maybe there is nothing. So, for example, there are lockers available for you to put the things that you want to put in them, if anything. So maybe you don't have anything that you want to put into them. The questions aim to find out the improvement in your English, if anything. So maybe there is none. Okay, when you translate something, the original words or the literal words have very little, if anything, to do with the real meaning. Okay, so there may even be nothing related to the original meaning. Okay, so, if anything, firstly, if nothing else, okay, I don't think we should continue to wait here. I think, if anything, we ought to keep moving. We ought to keep going. So it's a deviation from what has previously been mentioned. Thank you for saying that I look a lot thinner. But if anything, I think I've gained weight. Okay, so if anything, that something may be the case. You're suggesting that something else is true. Very often something different to that. Okay, so if anything, perhaps even, yeah. So you ought to feel sorry, and if anything, you ought to apologize. Perhaps even you ought to apologize. Okay, so that's the idea of this, if anything. I never had to help him. If anything, he used to help me. Okay, so it adds to what I've previously said as well. If anything, um, so I think he's very tall. No, you disagree with me. You think if anything, he's rather short. Okay, and then you also use this in questions where the speaker does not know for sure if this is the case. Can you tell me what you know about this town, if anything? So maybe you don't know anything about it. And that's the other idea of it. Formality. I think this I would use speaking. So I think I'm going to give it something like a 3.5 or a 4 in formality. I would use it when speaking informally. I would use it in a semi-formal, when speaking semi-formally, but I don't think I would write it. So I wouldn't use it in a semi-formal writing or a formal writing. Okay, let's see, if anything. The opposite may be the case, on the contrary. So I hope that this video has made this concept clearer. Unfortunately, I believe, if anything, it's made it more difficult for you to understand. Okay, and this is the idea of if anything. Okay, you think he looks like his father, but I think, if anything, he looks like his mother. So you're using it to express an opinion about something, normally different. You're suggesting that the opposite is true. Okay? So, well, if anything, I've probably made things worse. This may well be the case. Okay, and this is the idea of if anything. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now, if anything.